guys, welcome back. Since it is halfway through March, let's go ahead and set up my March spread in my reading journal. So last time I gave you guys the hint that I was going to be using this washi tape on the page, and I asked if you could guess what book I had read that inspired my March pages. So if you didn't get it, let me give you a few more clues. So, can you guess what it is? If you guessed Tress of the Emerald Sea, then you would be correct. This month's spread is going to be inspired by this book. So to start, I've already sketched out my calendar in pencil, and I'm going to go ahead and go over this in pen really quick off screen, and I will be right back. There we go. So I got the calendar. It's not perfect, but close enough. So now I'm going to decorate this just a little bit. So, of course, I have to use the washi tape. That sort of reminds me of the moons, because the moons are different colors, and of course one of them is green. But it also reminds me of the spores, because it looks like things are sprouting and things. So I'm going to put a little bit of that across this empty spot up here. I think I'll go in with some complimentary washi. The sprouts are an important part of the story, so I'm going to keep that in there. I also have this Woodlandia sticker book that I got from Michael's that has a lot of like nature type things, a lot of greenery and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to find something in here that I can use to bring in some of the green. Maybe. Oh yeah, something like this. Let's see if I've got some that are corners. Okay, I spared you me trying to find the perfect pieces, and I don't know if I'm quite done with it yet, but good for now. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stick down this map, because it's got the green and the Emerald Sea, and it looks like the water's green, so I just trimmed it along the edge of the picture of the actual map itself, and separating a little bit there, and then I just scrunched it and folded it and scrunched it and just made it look old. I could keep going and it would probably look even older and softer, but it's gonna be good. Oh, it's sticking to my finger. I want to make sure that it is oriented the correct way. And I'm leaving the folds and the texture and everything in it, and I like how it hangs off the side. Okay, next thing, I kind of forgot, I probably should have done this first, is I'm going to actually kind of give it that aged look with my Distress Oxide. So this is the one that I've been using for this one. It's the Vintage Photo. So I'm gonna put that on these parts that are kind of, oh boy, this is the one my son used for the orange. I bought one that I ended up not liking, and I gave it to him because it was way too orange. And now it's coming off on my page. Apparently I did not clean this brush off. And I'm going to do this side. I'm going to keep off of the actual calendar as much as I can because it's going to make the colors look funny when I do my little bars for like what days I'm reading each book on. So I'm going to stick to the edges. It does not have to be perfect. I feel like the more imperfect it looks, the better, actually. I'm going to try to cover up a little bit of that orange because it bothers me. Which there's going to be things down here, so that's not that big of a deal. So next, I'm going to go in with the walnut stain, which is a darker color. And sometimes I don't even use a brush. I just drag it on the edges to get that little bit of a torn look. Whoops. Messed up there. But if you do use the brush, you can just kind of blend it in. It's not that big of a deal. So now you may have noticed this little thing here. I'm actually going to be making an interactive piece. So I need my X-Acto knife. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm just going to split this right beside that so that it kind of opens a little flap here. Now, when you do this sort of thing, you are going to have to sacrifice, you know, these pages behind here because you're going to have to glue, well, tape really these together. I'll show you that in a second. So, I didn't do this. Let me lay a piece of paper down and I'm going to do the distressed ink on this part. This is the part that will show up when I pull this out. So then I'm just going to slide this piece into here, and then when it hits right here, it will stop. So it will look like this when it's together, and then it'll pull apart. So I should have done this in pen because now that's going to bother me. Okay, there. Much better. Okay, so before I close this up though, I have one more little piece that I want to do, but I need to kind of blend this background in just a bit. I could have cut the white out of here, but I got a little bit lazy, especially with the little details here. I was like, oh, this is going to take forever. So this will just help it to blend in to the background here. So I'm just going to put a brad on this. And then I think right about here. Perfect. And then close that out. Like I said, I don't mind mine being a little bit chunky, so I don't mind having the metal brad in there. And make sure it doesn't interfere with that. No, I think that's good. I should have used heavier paper for this because those are a little flimsy, but you just have to be careful turning it. But I think it's cute so far. I really like that. Okay, let's see. Put the little teacups. So if you have read Tress, you know that she collects cups. So I'm going to add the cups here, but I may do them in a different spot. I gotta decide. Maybe like that. Actually like it coming up onto the map a little bit. I'm layering the pieces like that. Very cute. Okay. I think I'm gonna go in with the darker stain on this part. I probably should have colored these in with my markers first. Okay, so I just went in with the darker stain. Kind of did it with the paper down, so there is a little bit of an outline once it pulls out, but you won't really be able to tell, I don't think. So far, so good. Let's see. I think I want to add a little bit more of like the greenery. So I think I'm going to, let me see if this sticker will actually fit. Because it's a big one. It's ripping the page. Okay, let's see if I can fit this one on here. Should have probably shifted everything over a little bit. Oh yes, it'll fit. Okay, good. So covers up some of the map, but I think it'll be okay. So if you read Tress, I feel like this goes with the theme really well. So I do think, I'm not going to put more on here, but I think I'm just going to go over the white with what's left on here just to mute that white a little bit. Perfect. Oh yes, I love that. Okay. So next up, I am actually going to put a tip in here. So I might cut where it comes over so that you can't see it on this side, but then it'll just have the little ship right here, and it kind of looks like it's sailing. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so if you have never done a tip-in, this is how it should work, and hopefully it will work. I'm going to set stuff all over me. Even with this being a little bit thicker, because this is 2 pieces of paper stuck together. So to do a tip-in, you just take your liquid glue, and mine is about empty, I think. Okay, that one was pretty empty, so I'm actually going to use this glue that came in one of my little kits, those little book nook kits. But regular white glue will work. As you can see, I'm out of that. So you just go along the very edge and you just lay a very thin layer of glue right on the edge. Then you stick it where you want it, right down in the seam, and then close it. So I'm making my journal quite a bit chunkier, but I love it. I love looking at the little pieces coming out and having a journal well lived in, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to let that sit for a minute so that that glue can dry. And while that is drying, it's on this page, I'm going to go ahead and close up this page. I got this a little close to the edge, but what you do is you take whatever glue or tape, whatever I'm using, my Tombow adhesive. You take your glue or your adhesive, whatever you're using, and you're going to go right along the edge because you don't want it to come open. So right along the edge. And then I'm also going to come above where my things are going to be and kind of reinforce that some more. Kind of get that in there real good. And I'm going to tilt this so that I make sure I don't tape that. And you can see my tip in is in there. So that's good. So let me go ahead and close that. I'm shaking you all over the place. I'm sorry. So there you have it. Now, I made the executive decision, like I didn't have the right to make the executive decision. It's my reading journal. So I made the decision that instead of doing the wrap up at the end, this is how I ended up doing February. So don't look if you don't want spoilers. I ended up doing this for February. I just did a little fold out. I'm going to go back in and decorate that up a little bit more later on, I think. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting some of my statistics on the interactive things like the tabs and the pullouts and things like that. So that will be where I put that on here. So I'm going to go in and maybe find a few more little greenery stickers. And here's the final reveal. So in just a second, I'll fill this in with what books I've been reading so far. Love how the tip-in turned out. I'll put the covers of my books over here on my map. And then my stats at the end of the month will go on this little scroll. And, you know, a ship wheel just for the heck of it. And I really like how I was able to combine the, you know, the leaves, the greenery, the woman with the vines coming out of her. If you've read the book, you'll know that that's a part of it. So I think it all actually came together really nicely. So let's look at what I've been reading so far. So for the first 10 days of the month, I was reading, get a little bit thicker pen, I was reading the Book of Lost Things. So when I do my wrap up, I will tell you my final thoughts on that. I talked a little bit about it last time. Oh, I found something I forgot. Oh gosh, not that. It's right here. just another little piece of ephemera, but I think it looks like a spyglass. So I think I'm going to put it over here. I don't think it actually is a spyglass, but it looks like one, so I'm going to put it over there. So anyways, read the Book of False Things. Okay, so the next book that I read, I had to read a book with a drink on the cover for my Magical Readathon March prompt. So I read That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. And again, I will tell you my final thoughts on that during my wrap-up. So, I actually started my next book last night, but I'm going to say I started it today. I actually started 2 books. I started Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I started A Sorceress Comes to Call. So, A Sorceress Comes to Call is going to be my standalone that I need for my novice path. Because the readathon is starting up next month, and I've got to finish that so that I can be sorted into my guild and everything. So I'm going to finish that up. After that, I'm going to finish Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then I'm thinking I will do Quicksilver, but we'll see. We shall see. So hopefully I finish more than 4 books. Reading is just going slow right now. Of course, when I start a booktube channel, my reading slows down. But anyways, that is it for today. And I will see you when I do my monthly wrap-up. And then also I will show you the final page, the final March spread with it all filled in. And I will be setting up my April spread. So I've got to think of another fun, interactive spread for that. So if you have any cool ideas, put them down in the comments for me, and I will see you guys then. Bye.